Satnam. So I am just doing a video, obviously. I haven't done one for a little while, and I wanted to kind of get back in the swing of it. It's a really funny backdrop that I chose, I'm just realizing. I could have probably gone the other way. Let's see. Is that better? It's a little better. Okay. Otherwise you're seeing some graffiti that my husband did on our wall over there. So, yeah, Shakti Fest is coming up, and I'm super excited. I'm super excited because, oh, I meant to say Satnam Fest, but Shakti Fest is also coming up really soon. So Satnam Fest is the same location as Shakti Fest, but it's this month coming up in April, and we're not in April yet, next month. And I'm so psyched. I'm so psyched because I'm going by myself, which is going to be a nice little retreat for me. And my husband's staying here with our kids, and I get to go to Satnam Fest, which means that I not only get to chant and chant for a yoga class for you guys, I also get to actually do some classes and sit in the audience and really absorb the blessedness that is Satnam Fest. So I'm super, super excited about that. And I just kind of wanted to see if anybody else was going or kind of on the fence about it, and if they had any questions. I'm here to talk about that. It looks like a really awesome lineup, which you can check out on their website. And then the next month, I am going to Shakti Fest, and I'll be performing kirtan and also chanting live for Kia Miller's yoga class. And that is always super exciting. It is so interesting to me because I've been going to Bhakti Fest and Shakti Fest since it began. Bhakti Fest started in 2009, and I was working for them. And so I've been to nearly every festival except for an interim of like a year or 2 years when I had a baby each time, I think. And to see that festival happen in the exact same retreat center as Satnam Fest is such an interesting sort of study of yogic traditions and the energy that the Bhakti scene creates versus the Kundalini. And I just appreciate and love them both so much, but they are so different. It is such a different experience. It is like a completely different place from one festival to the next. Satnam Fest, Satnam Jessie, Satnam Fest creates this very peaceful, like just meditative and also fun, also very high energy, but like there's like an elegance about it, the Kundalini scene. And Shakti Fest and Bhakti Fest, Shakti Fest is smaller than Bhakti Fest, but those are like, they also have their own, you know, yogic feel to them. So there's definitely a meditative and yogic feel, but it feels like a big conscious party. It's like up, 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 up. So there is within, it's just very different. I can't explain it. It's not explainable in words. So I would encourage anybody to come and experience both of them because they're just totally different. You can't say like, oh, I went to that one, so therefore there's no point in going to the other, because it's like two totally different things. Although you're gonna feel great after going to both of them. And Satnam Fest is first, so that's the one that is closest or at the forefront of my mind right now. Okay, so then the other thing that I wanted to talk about, because I have this video platform, which is such a funny. I used to blog, and now it's my dog. I used to blog, and now it's like, well, I'll just pick up a camera and I'll start talking, and I'll see who tunes in. So I was doing this game, and it was this really interesting game that I have a video about. It's called the Prosperity Game that I got from Abraham Hicks. And Sat Nam Sas Devlin, blessings from Ireland. Thank you. Sat Nam Aliyakar. I was just thinking about Ireland today. Isn't that interesting? I was thinking about how I would love to visit Ireland. I've only been in the airport. So I love this is a total aside, but while she's here, I love the Aer Lingus. I traveled with a full-size keyboard, and because Ireland is such a musician-friendly place, they have a super gracious weight limit for baggage for if it's a musical instrument. I love that. So anyway, I was playing this game, the Prosperity Game, and basically what I was doing is I had a spreadsheet, and I had these imaginary purchases that I was making, and the point of the game was sort of to build up my capacity for thinking about an expanded sense of prosperity and abundance in my life. Like if there was no limit, which there isn't, because we create our limits, everything is a response to our expectations and our beliefs. I'm becoming more and more aware of this. If I had this limitless perception of abundance, of prosperity, what would I, want to bring into my life that I don't have right now? And most of the things that I thought of were like these amazing trips, and gosh, I bought wardrobes upon wardrobes of clothing and jewelry and all these things. I was just thinking about like, gosh, what would I want? And it was an interesting thing for me to think about, because honestly, I don't think about buying things like this. Like, this isn't something that was in the forefront of my mind in terms of desire. I'm pretty happy where I am, and that's also a lesson that I learned from it, and which is ultimately the ultimate lesson in that game anyway. But it was kind of a cool creative thing to do. It was like an art project for my life. And the game is every day you get $1,000 more. So on day one you get $1,000. So you deposit in your imaginary bank account $1,000. You spend the $1,000. Next day you get $2,000. Next day you get $3,000. Next day you get $4,000. And the idea is to spend all of it in the day that you get it. So not to save it, not to bank it. So I got to like $50,000, so I was on day 50 with it. And I honestly couldn't think of that many things that I wanted. And even when I did think of things that I wanted, it was like, oh, this beautiful house that is, 6 bedrooms. Like, that is a gorgeous house. But I was thinking to myself, I don't really want that house. I would love to visit somebody who has that house. But I know what taking care of a house is like, and I don't really want that house. So my dream, I'm going to say it right now, my dream in life is to have the kind of prosperity where I get to go anywhere I want and stay in nice hotels. I have no interest in owning a bunch of stuff and a bunch of houses and stuff. And I don't say that to say that other people shouldn't, because that's also something that I learned through this game, is that we're all unique, and thank God we all want different things, or else, there would actually be shortage, like we don't want all the same things. I see things that people have and I think that is awesome for them, but I don't need that, and sometimes I'll see somebody who has something that I want, and it'll be a great inspiration for, something to bring into my life. But thank God we all want different things, and we all have different talents, and we all believe different things, and our realities are very different. And it was something that I got from the game. So after about 50 days, I was done. Who knows, maybe I'll I'll take it up again when I figure out something that costs that much in a day. I don't know. But yeah, I was kind of done with it. And what I started doing instead, which I like a lot better because it was starting to feel like a chore to have to figure out how to spend this money, which is funny. I never would have thought that it was a chore to spend money, but it did. It ended up being like something I had to figure out what I was going to do with. Is I started journaling. So I have this really cool app on my phone that I've been loving called I don't remember the name. Anyway, it's a journal app. Thank you, Alia. She says, "I'm proud of your detachment." Yeah, that was something that I think is it was a good process to go through, because it's easy to suppress your desires and think that that's detachment, as opposed to feeling like you could have anything and realize that you're also okay without it. And yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, so what I do in this journal, and it's also kind of based on the Abraham Hicks teachings. I'm really loving the Abraham Hicks teachings because I'm finding that it's helping me understand the teachings of the Sikh gurus and also Yogi Bhajan so much more deeply, because the interpretation of the guru, basically, that Esther Hicks channels, she doesn't call it that, but I'm gonna just say that, is from a Western perspective, and the Sikh scriptures and Yogi Bhajan are obviously from the East, and sometimes the analogies and the perspective is, especially the Guru, because it's so old, so the analogies and things don't apply anymore. So in the sense of saying that you don't need to wear a loincloth, or you don't need to, go and bathe in the different, you don't need to do the pilgrimage. Those aren't things that are part of my reality. So it's a little bit difficult for me to completely understand the depth of what is meant there. Even though I understand the ultimate point of it, of course, but there is a perspective there that is different from the one that I'm living. And so I'm really loving the perspective that Abraham Hicks brings to the table, which ultimately is the same core teaching, but the analogies are current and from a Western perspective and from an American perspective, and also female, so it's a lot of things that that I am. And yeah, it's just helping me get deeper into what I was already doing. So I super appreciate that. But anyway, the journaling that I've been doing, the journal I have, so I have a journal app, and then I get to create a whole bunch of different journals around themes. And the kind of journaling that I've been doing is different from the kind of journaling that I was encouraged to do as a teenager. With my mother, in her infinite wisdom, gave me a journal when I was in high school, and that ultimately became poetry and songs and all of these things that ultimately became my life. But the kind of journaling that I was doing was a recounting of the day, especially a recounting of what had gone wrong in my day. And for anybody that understands how the universe works, how energy works, that is counterproductive. It isn't an effective tool to rehash the negative emotions that you're experiencing, because you're going to attract more of what you're not wanting. So I have this one journal called Evidence. And in the Evidence journal, I write all of the things as they're happening, because it's on my phone. So it's like, you know, how many times a day can we check our phone? Lots, obviously. I'll write, someone smiled at me, or I got a free whatever. I got to my appointment like 20 minutes earlier than I thought. Satnam Grant, thank you. I love you. How you know, how many things in your day go right that you just don't put emphasis on because they seem normal, you know? And that's not even the stuff that I'm putting in there, but I could put stuff like, everybody stayed in their lane when I drove on the street, and the sun came up and the moon came up, and, you know, the trees stayed in their positions. There were no hurricanes, you know. So many things are going right all the time. And so the Evidence journal is just listing it so that I focus more on the things that are going right in my life. And I actually like quantify them, you know, I give them an importance, and I list them in that journal. And I'll go into detail about them, about how it made me feel and what I was thinking before it happened, and you know, if it helped me have a thought or an idea about something else or whatever. And then the other journal that I'm doing, let's see, I have a bunch of them. I have one that's just about my album, my new album that I released called -8, and I just sort of write, I do an exercise that's called scripting. So I'll just have an idea about something really cool that could happen with the album, and I will, you know, write like, wouldn't it, you know, as if it's going, you know, as if it's going to happen. This is blah, 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 blah. Gosh, I won some award. I can't remember exactly what I've written in it, but just things that would be cool to see happen without any attachment to them, just sort of for the feeling of upliftment that comes from focusing on something that would be cool. Alia writes 200% Shakti. Nice, yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I just, if you tuned in a little before I started, I was just saying I haven't done a video in a while, and I wanted to. My husband's doing this cryptocurrency channel, and he's like super excited to make videos every day, and he just made one, and I was like, I haven't done one in a little bit, so maybe I'll do one and I'll connect with some people. So yeah, Satnam Fest coming up. And Shakti Fest. Oh, I'm getting a message. Sauce Devlin. Yes, she's amazing. Have you looked into Teal Swan's work? She's very similar to Abraham's work. No, I haven't. I'll look that up. Thank you. And consciousness is so beautiful to be able to look at something in so many different perspectives. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's really neat. Thank you. I was actually thinking the other day, I wonder what sort of launching off of teachings will come from listening to the Abraham stuff, because, you know, everything grows, and I look forward to investigating that Teal Swans. I will check that out. So that is all for today, and I wish you an amazing weekend. Here in Phoenix on Friday nights we have Friday night chanting, so we do half hour of Guru Ram Das across the street from my house. They've been doing this for years and years and years, every Friday night. They're amazing human beings. And across the street, kind of catty corner, is our Gurdwara, and they do a Friday night service, so I'll be kind of going into either or both of those. And then I got a lot of stuff planned this weekend, kid related birthday parties and egg hunts and all that. So what does it say? Grant, it was nice seeing you. Love your music. I listen to every morning. Oh, thank you, Grant. Well, I will sign off and yeah, have a great weekend. Satnam. Bye.